vinyl community. This is a straightforward vinyl update. And I'm going to try to get through a lot of records that I picked up recently. And starting off with John McLaughlin, Mahavishnu John McLaughlin, My Goals Beyond. This is an album I'd never heard of before until I was watching a YouTube channel by Amoeba Records, and they have a series of clips called What's in My Bag. And whenever an artist is shopping at Amoeba Records, either down in San Francisco or Los Angeles store, they will take them aside, kidnap them, if you will use that term. They go willingly, though. They do. Sometimes they take them in the back room and they do the interview with them, and sometimes they just interview them right there in the racks. And it's a real interesting series to watch. It's kind of fun. But I should have checked. It's either Johnny Marr or Noel Gallagher. It was one of their segments, What's in My Bag, and they had as one of their items this album. But he was disappointed that it was a different cover. It wasn't the original cover. Well, you know, that gets me going, what does the original cover look like? And I go and look for it, and not only that, I find on eBay a very affordable copy of it that I put a bid on, and I got. It's in great shape, inside and out. The vinyl's in great shape. And I can see why he was interested in this. It's really, really interesting. It's probably nothing new to a lot of people out there, but it's new to me. And I'm glad it is, and I'm glad I've got a hold of a copy of it, and I'm listening to it because it's very, very good. I'm really enjoying this. And it is interesting that they changed the cover so much. I would like to know why they changed the cover. Because the cover he had was black and white. It was a black cover with a white, high contrast white portrait of John McLaughlin. So I didn't quite understand that, why there was a change there, because this album cover and the gatefold and everything is just very, very cool. So I was very happy to pick that up. Like I said, I'm going to try to fly through things here and not talk too much about them, because I've got a bunch of stuff that I've recently picked up and I want to be able to show it. So let's I'll go with a few more things real quick. I just recently got in the mail a Japanese pressing of John Lennon's first album, Plastic Ono Band. Again, I didn't have the Japanese of it, and it was at a reasonable price. The vinyl's in great shape. There's a little bit of damage to the cover here. I can live with that. The obi's in great shape. Very cool to have that. Interesting label variation as well from the Japanese. Just sort of black and white outline of the, not outline, but of the apple on both sides, as opposed to the color photograph of the apple. So that was a nice pickup. This guy right back here, you can see it on the wall, the Derek there. Let's see. Steel I Span, Now We Are Six. This was like $1 pickup at the store I got last night. Maddie Pryor's vocals. It's on the, never pronounce this correctly, Shinachi Records. I want to make sure I pronounce that correctly. I have a 2-disc compilation CD of their music, and I always tell myself to look for more Steel I Span, and it just always gets forgotten or left behind. And this was just stuffed in their dollar bin area, $1, $2, $3 bin area. It's in perfect condition, absolutely great. I put it on the turntable to listen to, and really, really heard her voice, and it was easy to pick that up. CTI recording, Stanley Turrentine, Sugar Man, $2 grab. It's in great shape. I liked a lot of what I heard. Some of it I need to listen to it more, and I was just doing a couple of needle drops on it to give it a listen to and see if it was something I was interested in, and I really liked it. It's an original CTI, gatefold, heavy, thick, you know. CTI's packaging was always really interesting, just because of how thick and heavy and durable the covers were. So very happy to have that. Give that more of a listen in the next couple of days. Let's see. Some other things I picked up last night. One of them was Argent. If you're a Zombies fan at all, when they split up, everybody went their own way. Colin Blunstone did his thing. Rod Argent did his. This is one of his later solo efforts called Nexus. This is the import cover. Very different from the American cover. This is still sealed, and I got it for $3. So I'll be opening that up and giving it a good listen. I don't think I've even sampled any of the music, but it's zombie related. Argent for $3. I was happy to grab a hold of it and have a copy of it. Not my favorite album artwork, but it's interesting. It's a nice try. Oddly enough, this back photo here, where they're all grabbing a hold of this, what could be an album cover. This was used as the cover of a compilation album, like a greatest hits album. I think it's in Europe. It's slightly different artwork, but it's basically this back cover with just different information on it. They use that as the cover for a compilation album, which I've been looking at and sort of eyeing. Let's see. Yes. I jumped on the Boris bandwagon. I sampled some of the music on this and really liked this album. Loved the artwork. I think first place I saw it was on Derek's post. Then I saw a couple of the people were talking about Boris. So very happy to have this, and looking forward to giving it a good listen. Haven't had a chance to do that yet. Another band, that stuff I've talked about. Band called Tangerine, or Kaleidoscope. I always get these two mixed up. The band's name is Kaleidoscope, and this album is Tangerine Dream. I bought the CD reissue of this, I think it was on Repertoire Records, a few years ago. It was missing the booklet, unfortunately, but I listened to it and it was like, wow, it's great. Very classic 67, 68 psychedelic pop. Really enjoyed it. Sunbeam Records has decided to, in their infinite wisdom, release it on vinyl again. I couldn't find this anywhere except online in a couple of places, and I was worried that it's something that was going to come into print and out of print quickly, so I happily ordered both copies, and comes with a really nice booklet telling you about the band, great history of the band, about the music, 45 cover, 45 sleeves, something else to look for and collect. I don't know if this band was ever really known in the US. It was mostly, I think, they had most of their exposure in the UK. Because I don't ever recall hearing about them. But of course, in 68, I think I was 8 years old. So the chances of me hearing about them are somewhat slim. Especially when the Beatles were doing all their work. Very heavy vinyl, very sturdy. I mean, this is real. Sunbeam Records. This is my first getting a hold of the Sunbeam record. Not true. Actually, I have two other records by Sunbeam. I just haven't opened them up yet. By another psych band called Blossom Toes, which I could grab the vinyl for those and show them off, but I'll save that for another time. But Blossom Toes and Kaleidoscope are two albums that go well together. Two bands that go well together. So here's, I believe, their first album, their first effort. And they also issued, on Sunbeam Records, reissued the second album called Faintly Blowing, which I also have the CD of. And it's a good complimentary album to their first album. So I haven't opened this one up yet. It looks to be a gatefold, which is nice. So when I break this open, maybe I'll feature it in another clip. This band eventually went on to, I think the members stayed the same, but they just changed their name. I don't know why, but they sort of evolved into a band called Fairfield Parlor. And Fairfield Parlor released, I know, 2 albums at least. I have both of them on CD as reissues. One I can't remember the name of. The other one I think is called White Lady, although I'm not 100% sure. And again, they're both good. Good music. If they reissue those vinyls as well. Someone has reissued that the first Fairfield Parlor album, but everywhere I see it, they want the reissue. They want $40 or $30 or $40, and I want to wait for that to come down a little bit before I buy into that for the vinyl. Let's see. Another item up here. I got a few other things. Copy of Led Zeppelin 3, U.S. copy in just immaculate shape. The wheel works, everything works really well. I never owned this, even back in the day. I never owned this album. I don't know why. My listening experience with Led Zeppelin, or album buying experience, started with, I think, Led Zeppelin, Houses of the Holy, I think, really, is when I first bought an album. I think I bought 4. I think I bought the Zoso album. It was Stairway to Heaven, because I remember when that song came out, there was a radio station at night, and at nighttime I'd go to bed around 10 o'clock, and between 9:50 and 10 o'clock I could turn the radio on and know that I would hear Stairway to Heaven. It was the last thing the one DJ played before the other DJ took over his shift, and it was this nice long song, and it was like his sign off and the other guy's sign on. And for a long, long time, that was always what you heard between those two DJs taking their shifts. So I probably started off with that album and then did Houses of the Holy and went on from there. But I never owned Zep 3, so this popped up at the local store in vinyl, LP, everything in mint condition. It was a little pricey. It certainly wasn't in the dollar bin. But it's one of those you snooze, you lose. So I didn't want to lose this, and so I've got it. Rob, I'm sure you're happy for me if you're watching this. I'm sure you're happy for me. I'm happy for me. I'm glad I've got this guy. So that's gonna be it for this pile up here. There's some stuff down here that I got really quick. I love my 10-inch records. And this is one I've seen a number of times, but this is a $2 pickup. Ricky Lee Jones, Girl at Her Volcano. I had to read that again. Straightforward black vinyl 10-inch, but it's a $2 pickup. The 10-inch is in great. The vinyl's in great shape. The cover's a little banged up, but that's okay. A little dinged up here and there. So nice to have that in addition to the other 10-inch records I have. Here. This was an interesting find for $1. It's an original Jefferson Airplane Takes Off gatefold cover. The only reason it's the cover, it's got a lot of ring wear, kind of messed up, split on the top there as you can see. The vinyl it's an interesting comparison to my vinyl, which is just pristine. This one's got lots of scratches. I'm just assuming they're very audible and very noticeable. This is a stereo copy. The reason I grabbed this was the inner sleeve was the rainbow, or not the rainbow, but the psychedelic pink inner sleeve for Sgt. Pepper. For whatever reason, whoever owned this grabbed the Sgt. Pepper inner sleeve, put Jefferson Airplane in it, and this is actually in really good condition. It's got some marks here. There's a split on the bottom. There's a little bit of folding problem here. It's split a little bit, but overall for $1, I'm happy to have another inner sleeve, original inner sleeve for Sgt. Pepper. So this will be going in my Beatles Sgt. Pepper collection up there. In fact, I'm going to keep this out. I'm going to set this right here for right now. Stay. And I'll have to find another sleeve and something to do with this guy. We have an idea what to do with him. But anyway, that was a nice surprise to find that in that Jefferson Airplane album. Let's see, just a few more things. This is kind of a fun find for $3. The Turtles' Greatest Hits on Rhino Records. I didn't have any Turtles, not even on CD, so this is a good place to start. I kicked myself. You know, you think about the records that you sold here and there, and this one of them that I sold that was on Rhino. In fact, it might have been. It wasn't on Rhino. Rhino might have released it, but actually, this reminds me of a Zombies album that I had on vinyl on the C for Miles record label, called the Zombies A's and B's, and it was all their A sides of their singles and then the B sides. I don't know if it was in order A, B, A, B, A, B, or the A sides were on side A and the B sides were on side B. I can't remember. When I bought the CD, I sold the vinyl. I wish I hadn't, but you know, I did that to a couple of things. So, and there are some regrets. That's one of them. You can find it every once in a while, and it's pricey. So that's something. If I could find again, I would, and I'd pick it up. Yeah. I wouldn't drop a lot of money on it, but I would definitely pick it up if it was a reasonable price. So it's not nice to have Turtles. Brand X. This is a $2 pickup. This isn't my favorite Brand X album. My favorite is More Rock and Roll, but I wanted to go ahead and grab this. A little wear on the cover. The vinyl's in great shape. $2. Couldn't go wrong. This is another one that I always wanted to pick up way back in the 80s. I never did. So here's a nice promo cut sticker on the front, $3. Life Stiffs with, you know, the vinyl has got a little wear and tear to it, but it just needs a little work on cleaning it up and it'll be fine. So glad to have that. Along with that as well, another one that's a little quick corner is Alan Parsons Project, Pyramid. I've never heard this album. DJ copy. It's in, you know, great shape. Nothing DJ about the label though, but it does have a nice DJ sticker on the front. Makes it kind of special. Looking forward to hearing this. I like Alan Parsons. He's again. Excuse me. I need some tea. Excuse me. I've owned a couple of Alan Parsons albums in the past. One being Stereotomy, which I'd like to get on vinyl again. I think I've got that on CD. I remember buying the vinyl of it and really liking it. That's kind of a tough one to find on vinyl. I'd like to find that. Stereotomy. That was a good album. I like that. I'm pretty sure I have the CD of it somewhere. Last but not least, I think this is last but not least, this is just a very strange record, and I went back and forth about picking it up. Capitol Records Open House. It's a promo of sorts. I'm really not too sure what it's a promo for. It's very strange. 1978. It's gatefold. It's sort of here's just all the different parts of Capitol Records. How we make music, how we make records, how we record in the recording studio. It's really strange. Someone maybe who's been in the music biz in the past can explain it to me. It's got, oh, I didn't even see this before. Cool. Photos of the mixing desk. Producer John Carter at NECAM console. Photographer Charles Connolly. That there is. This is a contact sheet of Taste of Honey at NECAM console. Photo Buddy Rosenberg, Bob Levy. So several photos of the band. Taste of Honey. Now I've got to try to find Taste of Honey music to see if I can find out any information about them, because here's photos of them listening to their music being recorded or being played back at the recording console. The album itself, just in a plain white sleeve, open house. One side, this is what gets strange. We'll probably talk more about this than I am any of the other music or anything. What's odd about this is side one, it's this little, it's like a radio play of two guys meeting on the street trying to talk very hip musically in 1978. It's almost comical to listen to them talk about the music industry in a, you know, hey, let's go listen to some groovy tunes. Or I don't know if they use that word, but whatever. they're definitely reading from a script, and they meet up on the street, and hey, let's go back to the studio. I got some great tracks for you to listen to, blah blah blah. And the track is called "Fun with Jack and John," written by Rich Blinn, Blinn. It's kind of funny to listen to. I didn't listen to all of it. I listened to the beginning of it and just started shaking my head, going, "What?" I skipped ahead, and they're in the studio, and he's talking about the mixing consoles, and then on side 2, we don't get the continuing story of Jack and John having fun. Hold on one second. I do, however, want to change to side 2. If you're sticking with me, I appreciate it, folks. You're the greatest. But I definitely need to either stop this record or put it on side 2. I'd like to put it on side 2. And there we go. And now we're back to this crazy Capitol Records promo that I was talking about. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate it. I'm not going to edit this video because it just takes too long to do the editing and all that. So side 2 has got 4 or 6 tracks. Jump for Joe by Stan Kenton, Little Deuce Coupe by the Beach Boys, The Joker, Steve Miller, Palm Leaf Rags, Southland Singers, excuse me, Broke Again, Little River Band, and Sentimental Lady by Bob Welch. A couple of songs I haven't heard of. And it's definitely a promo, you know. It's called Open House 78, Pro 101. But this whole thing is just, I really don't understand what's the point of it. I can only assume that it should have the title of this should be, so you've decided to record with Capitol Records. You know, here's everything you need to know. Here's what's going to happen. This is what it's going to look like, you know, so forth and so on. Here's just tons of information, you know, all the details, disc cutting, you know. The photos are of Studio B showing variable acoustic splays. John Carter and engineer John Arias doing a mixdown in Studio B. Disc cutting lathe. Thundering Herd during direct to disc. Woody Herman during D to D in Studio A. Direct to disc, I'm assuming, in Studio A. So, yeah, it says this record and its context are strictly for promotional use only, not for sale. And then it just gives copyright information for all the songs. And words, invitation, this says invitation logistics, graphics, balance mixers, sound mechanics, and whatnot. Anyway, Chief Curmudgeon, Rich Blinn. He gets credit for being Chief Curmudgeon. Anyway, it's just an odd artifact. Capitol Records Open House. So if anybody knows anything about this, 1978, let me know. I'm just curious. It's a fun little artifact from Apple. I keep saying Apple. From Capitol Records. And there's one other thing. There is this other side opens up here. I didn't check. I didn't see the photos yesterday. Let me look and see to make sure there isn't anything else. You know, if you're sticking with me this far, I appreciate it, folks. I did notice yesterday on the other thing, they have a rate guide to the recording studio facility. Capitol Records. Capitol Records building. I've stood right in front of the doorway. January 78. And you open it up, illustrations, very cool illustrations, almost look like watercolors. But here they talk about studio rental rates per hour. 2, 4, or 8 track, Studio C, $70 an hour. 16 track, Studio A, $110 an hour. Studio C, $80 an hour. 24 track, Studio A, $120 an hour. Studio B, $140 an hour. And Studio C, $90 an hour. So, you know, I'm not going to go through all these, but they also have listings for, as far as tracks goes, either stereo or quad, so you can do quadraphonic. Special equipment and services. So just lists all the services they have here. Lacquer masterings, lacquer reference discs, empty reels and boxes, material costs. Just a word about studio costs. All kinds of information about prices and whatnot. Terms and conditions. All that you demand in professional recording services and more are Capitol Records. And then gives the address and the phone number. I should call that phone number and just ask if, you know, hey, price is the same. How much does it cost for me to come in and just stand in front of a microphone for an hour? Just so I can say I've recorded something at Capitol Records. Anyway, thanks for sticking along for this little journey. Very strange. I didn't even notice these photos yesterday. Very cool. And Taste of Honey. I'm going to have to look them up and find some of their music. I'm very curious to see or hear what their music's like. They're having a great time in front of the mixing console here, listening to their recording. They're enjoying it. So anyway, that was kind of a fun little find. It's just so bizarre. Anyway, anybody knows anything about this? Yeah, let me know. I always say that and then nobody ever lets me know. So apparently I'm picking up all these things nobody knows anything about. It's great. Terrific. That's it for Vinyl Vines recently. Anyway, have a good day. Hope this isn't too long. It's probably going to be another 30-minute clip, and I appreciate it when you guys watch all the way through. So anyway, John McLaughlin, My Goals Beyond. Definitely pick this up if you don't have it. And if you do, let me know what you think of it and his other music as well. If you can recommend any of his other music, because I definitely want to pick up some more John McLaughlin. It's someone who I've heard before, but again, an artist I just haven't gotten into for one reason or another, because there's so much music and so little time. But I'm doing my best. Anyway, take care and see you later.